Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, November 6th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And also, if you trade Bitcoin, I will do a bonus analysis at the end. First off, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, ticker symbol DJT. Been tracking this one very closely. Ton of drama around it, and with voting going on today, what happens tomorrow, things could get very, very wild. So with that being said, I just want to map out some general levels, but also keep in mind the exterior context here. This is going to be based very, very much so on the results of how the election comes out. But first, and you can see here, it was pretty crazy here. Got the big gap up, got a big move down, and now as I speak, the price is trying to bounce back upwards. But overall, the level of support that still seems to be in play that I'll be very curious about moving forward is 29.35. Can that level hold strong if it even gets tested? Maybe it doesn't even get tested, but if it does, will there be some sort of repeat where it comes on there and you get a bounce? That remains to be seen, but regardless, from a just technical standpoint, 29.35 remains a key area of support. And then in terms of areas of resistance, what I'm very curious about now is just this overall trend line that has formed. So let's get this drawn into play. There we go. And that's going to be another level where if the price can come up here and get a push up through it, that break in of itself, even if you just want to call it a self-fulfilling prophecy where you have breakout traders saying, oh, look, that's breaking out. Oh, I'm a breakout trader. I'm supposed to buy the breakout. Therefore, they buy just for no other reason than that. That is where that could be a very realistic possibility at that location right there. So headed into the unknown, looking like we have this wedge formation here. So moving into post-election, just a question of who is ultimately going to win this battle between the resistance and the support. Next one, BNOX, and I like this one a whole lot because this trend line here, I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply this is a great skill or a special discovery. You got to think everybody and their brother's uncle drew that trend line right there. And I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same level, wondering the same thing, like I just mentioned previously, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movements. Like I said, those breakout traders, if they see something breaking out, oh, I'm supposed to buy the breakout because I'm a breakout trader, and they just buy. And you got to think those breakout traders have that line drawn right there. I mean, just an absolutely beautiful trend line. So nothing is guaranteed, but it is certainly more than plausible to think that if the price comes up here and pushes through that level, that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure. If the price does pull back a little bit, key area of support to keep an eye on would be right here at the bottom of this pullback area, right around the 43-cent mark. So keep an eye on that. And then just from an overall pattern standpoint, let's keep it one color to make it easier to see. We have our resistance. We have our support. We have the huge explosion right there. For you golfers out there, try to make it a little bit more visual. Put the golf hole down here. This would be a bull pennant pattern. So if you like bull pennants, you like penny stocks, keep an eye on it. Next one, PLTR, very big mover today after earnings and that opening 30-minute. Well, I take that back because there was first that gap up, and then there's a very strong opening 30 minutes, and then things kind of consolidated out a little bit, and that's where we get some movement here that I think is calling for a pullback. So let me get this pattern drawn into play here, and that is where we have a rising wedge pattern, which is actually bearish. Now, let me be very clear. When I say pullback, that is not the same as a crash or anything like that. You could have technically a pullback right here and then have it level out before returning back upwards. And what would you still have from the big picture? Well, you'd still have a set of lows there. You'd have that low. You'd have these lows down here. And if you envision those as stair steps, you would still have from the big picture stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. So again, don't freak out. I'm not saying a pullback means an absolute crash, but what the technical pattern is suggesting is that, yeah, this thing probably needs to take a bit of a break, take a breath, and pull back a little bit more because it is a rising wedge pattern. But from the bigger picture standpoint, definitely a very good day today. Next one here, BJDX, and we have the whole idea of these self-fulfilling prophecies again because, once more, by no means am I trying to impress you. You got to think that all sorts of people drew that downtrending trend line just like that. So I want to respect your time, and I'm not going to repeat myself, but you get the idea. A lot of people watching that level. If the price comes up here and breaks through it, guarantee no, but plausible to think that a break right there could create additional buying pressure. Absolutely. So once again, if you like penny stocks and you like these very well-defined situations where you could get those potential self-fulfilling prophecies, then keep an eye on it. Next one here, NVIDIA, NVDA, and just nothing too exciting, but very, very healthy. I mean, it has not necessarily exploded, but what it has done is just continue to build these higher lows. And from an overall standpoint, that's all you can ask for. So I'm actually going to get those lines down there out of the way. They've served their purpose for now, because moving forward from a support standpoint, you have two main levels. First case, it would be, Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute strongest and healthiest moving forward? And that would be if the price can stay up above that pink line there, the 200 period moving average. But if the price falls below there, that does not mean the chart's ruined or destroyed. But yeah, if the price could manage to stay above there, that'd be very, very impressive. The level here that I would say ideally, in more of an overarching type of way, would be that purple line there, the 50 period moving average. Keyword being moving, so as time goes by, that line is going to move itself higher and higher. So as long as the price stays above there, then essentially this methodical movement that's already been occurring, that just means that that same movement is still fully healthy. In regards to areas of resistance, I think the price got rejected right off it, but let's see here. Yep, exactly. Right there at 140.35, but going back through the history of things, you can see this area presented some problems. And then surprise, surprise, right there is right where the price got rejected from again. Now, that's not to say that 140.35 can't be broken. I'm just saying it makes sense why the price did struggle at that area. So that'll definitely be public enemy number one headed into Wednesday. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering here in a couple of days. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use to sign up, or if you're watching at my website, there's an area on the webpage you can use to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Next one here, PLUG, talked about this in yesterday's video, and you can see got the break of that trend line right there. Very nice move up, so I'll go ahead and get rid of that. And now we essentially have a repeat of yesterday's action. Not the exact same looking chart, but essentially the same pattern. So we have an area of resistance right there. Once more, very, very well-defined trend line to draw, so I'm not trying to impress anybody with that. And at the same time, we have this level right here as, whoops, come on, there we go. We have this level right here as support. So let me change that to green, and then to keep it all the same color, we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the nice move up right there. This would be a bull flag pattern. So bull pennant, bull flag, don't get bogged down in the definitions, because they're still saying the essential same thing. And that what they're saying is there was a surge of momentum, there was a bit of a pullback, not just becomes a question of will another surge of momentum take place. And given the context of things, you can see quite a bit of history. Surge of momentum, pullback, boom. Pullback, and then once again heading back up. So will history repeat itself? That's the main dynamic here. But if you like stocks down around this $5 range, you like bull flags, keep an eye on PLUG. Next one, TSLA Tesla. Very nice day today. It had gotten kind of shaky as it was just one lower low after another the past few days. But today finally put in a higher high, higher low. So that's good to see. And I can't remember, there was a previous one, but we have the same, I think it was NVIDIA. But in terms of ideal levels of support, yeah, if the price can now maintain above that purple line there, that would be fantastic. That'd be a very good sign of strength. But from the overarching standpoint, you just want to watch that pink line down there. The very famous, very well-known 200 period moving average. So as that line continues to move itself higher and higher, as long as the price does stay above there, that does imply that the broad general trend is still plenty in the bull's favor. In terms of areas of resistance, key area to watch, yeah, right here at 255.50. You can see previously this was a former area of support, and then just basic technical analysis, when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So when it was broken right there, you can see it went into acting as resistance there, and then right there. So once again, as I said previously, that's not to say that 255.50 can never be broken. I'm just saying it makes sense why the price is struggling at that area, but keep an eye on that as the main battleground. Next one here, SMCI, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched our video previously, but if you did, then you know that we've been tracking that resistance trend line right there, and you can see that earlier in the day, that line was still being very stubborn, direct rejection, another rejection, but then late day, in fact, let me move this over so we can see it a little bit better. There we go. But then you can see later on, the price finally did get the breakthrough right there and is now doing very well, slight pullback, and now as I speak, this final 30 minutes. Very, very impressive movement. And again, that's why I like to do these when the markets are open, because sometimes we can capture action like this. So very, very impressive final 30 minutes. So we'll go ahead and get rid of that as it served its purpose for now. And now moving forward, I'm going to add in another area of support. So yes, this level down here at 23.90 is a level, but now we have a bit of a trend line moving in the bull's favor. So keep an eye on that as an area of support too. I'll change it up a little bit. And ideally, that's the level you want to see hold. If the price comes all the way down to 23.90, at that point, that would imply that this big bounce right here has been wiped away. And from a bullish standpoint, you really don't want to see big bounces be totally wiped away. On the flip side of things, in regards to areas of resistance, next key battleground to watch now very closely, going to be right up there around that level, which sits at 28.70. So keep a close eye on that. But yeah, no doubt about it. Nice day today. No doubt about it. Very, very impressive final 30 minutes right here. So we'll see if this momentum carries in Wednesday. Next one here, SPPL. And overall, a very wild day when you stop and think about the fact how there was a big gap up. Price went all the way up there. Price essentially had a miniature collapse all the way down here, leveled out, and all of a sudden, almost right back up to those highs. So if you're someone that gets motion sick, you're probably, thrown up all over the place today, because it was definitely a very choppy day. But when the dust is settled now, we have a couple of very key levels, very important areas that can be drawn. So we have our overarching area of resistance right there, going back to those self-fulfilling prophecies. Very basic trend line to draw, which is what we want to see. And then as far as areas of support are concerned, we have that level right there. So we have basically this big old wedge formation that has formed. We have the resistance part of it, then we have the support part of it, and moving forward, just a question of, who's ultimately going to win out. Are the bulls going to win out with another break to the upside? Are the bears going to all of a sudden show up and not only push the price back to the bottom, but down through it? That all remains to be seen, but you got to give credit or credits to. Very, very impressive afternoon. Very nice last 30 minutes. As I speak here, you can see good solid green candle here. So can it get back up there? Can it break through it? Grab your popcorn and we'll see what happens on Wednesday. Next one here, ticker symbol TQQQ. Overall, good solid day. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level because I want to make this a little bit cleaner in terms of areas to watch. Now, I am going to leave that overall support trend line right here, which is coming from there. Not really relevant at all right now, but I'm just leaving it on the chart just more so for my curiosity's sake. Because right now we have a much cleaner way to look at this in terms of resistances and support. And maybe you've already kind of seen where I'm probably headed with this. But in terms of areas of resistance, we have overhead the looming 200 period moving average, that pink line right there. Current value right around the 73.70 mark. So keep an eye on that if that does try to come back upwards. And if the price does pull back, well then yeah, you guessed it, we have our trusty and good friend, the purple line down there, the 50 period moving average, right now valued at, we'll call it right around 71.30. And no need to overcomplicate it. It's really just about this. Now, I would also not be totally, well then again, with the election, maybe this thing really snaps in one direction or another. But also the price can really respect charts quite a bit. So maybe it's just going to be a whole lot of snapping back and forth between these two levels. Or maybe I'm just being very, very optimistic in the sense of there not being a whole ton of volatility. But we'll see what happens with it. But nonetheless, strictly speaking from a technical point of view, these would be the key levels to keep an eye on in the near term as far as resistance and support. I'll get to Bitcoin here in just a second, but for you stock traders out there, again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool, then definitely get signed up for the free live webinar. It'll be relatively soon, Thursday, November 7th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. Now let's talk some Bitcoin. One quick clarification here. I am now on the 4-hour time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 4 hours worth of time as opposed to 30 minutes. And that's because Bitcoin is open 24/7. And now this analysis remain relevant for as long as possible. So by looking at a longer time frame and then walking through some general questions, I'll be able to keep this, like I said, relevant for as long as possible. So overall, good solid movement here since the last update. But let's just assume you're watching this video 15, 20 hours after I upload it. Question number one you need to ask yourself is we need to just continue to document where is the price at relative to the 200 period moving average. Currently, let's just call it 66,400. So as long as you're answering that question that the price is above 66,400, then as far as I'm concerned, everything is fine. Now, if the price drops all the way down here, not the greatest thing, but also from an overarching standpoint, not the end of the world by any stretch, because again, you would still be up above that very key overall moving average. Now, if you are saying, well, actually, Clay, the price is down below there, well, that's where some common sense kicks into play. Well, how far down below? The further down below the price is, that would just be illustrating the worse and worse things have all of a sudden become for Bitcoin, especially when you consider that, if the price is way down here, that implies that this big bounce has been not only wiped away, and not only broken through the 200 period moving average, but now all the way down there. So that would be, one way to gauge it. Now, if you are saying, well, Clay, the price is still above that pink line, fantastic. Next question, where is the price at relative to 71,500? If you're saying the price is above there, that's telling you that Bitcoin is doing very, very well, and you should certainly be quite optimistic about things. Or if you're saying, well, Clay, the price is, up above this level, but down below here, then that's just a form of consolidation. Whether it's bullish or bearish consolidation, that'll be, obviously it's more bearish if it's down there, it's more bullish if it's up here, but nonetheless, it would still be consolidation. So keep your eyes on those levels, walk yourself through those questions, and that'll keep this relevant until I'm back to update it again. And as I invited the stock traders, I'm inviting you as a crypto and Bitcoin trader to get signed up for this free webinar, because what you're learning about can and certainly should be used within the world of crypto and Bitcoin. So like I said, it'll be very soon, Thursday, November 7th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please do a couple things for me, especially if you just like to help the channel, support the channel in a totally free type of way. Just hit the subscribe button. That little thing goes a long way in helping the channel. So if you could do that, would really, really appreciate it. And also just to hit that like button. So go get signed up for that free class. Thanks for watching.